been looking at issues around the Green Revolution in Zambia and across the continent. The Green Revolution basically it's an initiative that started way back after the Second World War II.
The Green Revolution has been in existence since the 1950s.
AGRA is to promote fertilizer chemicals.
In 2006, Alliance for Green Revolution in Africa was founded.
And one of the biggest reasons why this alliance was set up was the fact that there is need to improve agriculture production in order to address the growing population in the world.
The whole idea of the AGRA was to increase productivity in Africa, that is double the productivity in small-scale farmers, and the target was 30 million small-scale farmers. And also they supported some commercial seed companies and also trained people in the universities and some research institutions. So the whole idea of AGRA was that we would see a double increase in productivity by the year 2020.
Within this AGRA, I think the people that have benefited more, it's the multinational companies who have been the ones who have been driving the agenda. The AGRA approach has not worked for Zambia. The Green Revolution has not worked for Zambia. And in Zambia, I mean the small-scale farmers whose rights have not been realized because of this particular approach.
One effect that this revolution has done was that being centered only on maize reduced the diversity in production. That is, we didn't see an increase of production in other crops, in the agriculture sector. So the whole farmer input support program was mainly targeting maize production, leaving out the whole diverse of other crops that we need to produce. And that ultimately impacts on our nutrition security and of course food security of the country. And with that in mind, I think the AGRA initiative has failed in terms of diversifying the sector and also improving our food security and nutrition security.
Most of our farmers now, or even most of our consumers, the food that they're consuming is something that has chemicals. For our farmers to actually produce anything, they are relying on chemicals, which came with the Green Revolution.
Some of the things that we've really seen as the biggest hindrance to Zambia just ending all forms of malnutrition has to do with our food production. If you look at some of the statistics that we've come to see in the Demographic Health Survey, for example, the minimum acceptable diets for children who are between the age of 6 months to 23 months, which is 88% of them not having access to diverse foods frequently. So it all comes back to the mono diet that the FISIP program has been promoting in the country. And for us to really get to a stage where our fight against malnutrition will be meaningful and it will save a lot of monies that government has to spend and just other stakeholders have to spend in just addressing the challenges of malnutrition, we really need to see how we can restructure the farmer input support program for it to accommodate just the diversification agenda.
With the farmer input support program that we have in Zambia, which was birthed from the Green Revolution, we are seeing our farmers suffering because our farmers don't really seem to be benefiting from this program, but yet their yields are not improving, their food and nutrition security are still bad.
FISIP program, I know it, but it's not enough to cover the whole year for my home consumption because they only give us maize and fertilizers.
FISIP timalandira chabe seed ya mirisi na fertilizer. So kuti tikwanise kupeza vakudya vofunikira mutupi stima kwanisa bwino tikwanisa kwenda kagula chabe mabinzi kutauni kapena talimako vofunika ma sweet potatoes ni kwenda kagula cassava ni kugula vinangu vonse hivi vamene vingatimange mukati mwatupi mwatu tigula chabe vogula koma still vikwanisa kuti tilime through FISIP.
It has killed our soils. Productivity is going down now. Those who are smart are leaving stopping using chemical fertilizers and reverting to doing what is called regenerative agriculture or agroecology.
When we talk about the environment, AGRA has actually supported intensity in terms of herbicides and pesticides that are used to, cultivate agriculture. And these have had quite a big impact on our environment. They not only kill the much needed macroorganisms in the soil, they've actually affected the soil fertility of many people in the fields. And so you find people are constantly now facing the need to use fertilizer and herbicides, which is not good for the environment. We need our environment to be more organic. We need to use the natural resources for us to regenerate the soil fertility, and in that way improve even the quality of food that we produce. The chemicals that we're using are also impacting on the health of the people. We've had studies that have been done where people are getting cancers just because of the intake of these chemicals. So the impact on the environment is huge, and it is also affecting our health as human beings, and as well as other animals who also are part of this ecosystem which depends on each other.
All these ailments that have come in is because of the chemicals that are in the vegetables, that are in the crops. But if you go organic, you find you're growing very healthy. A child can do a lot of physical things that there is no obesity. It's something that is very appreciative, and we are really enjoying.
We have seen that there's been introduction of a lot of chemicals within the green revolution. But the question is, what justice has it done for us in the environment? Right now we have climate change, which I think every country in the world is battling with, and this is aligned to the many different chemicals that are produced in the agriculture sector. And this is something that came from the green revolution.
Need policies that will mitigate the effects of these chemicals. As you are aware already, we are fighting with climate change, and we're trying to see how we can mitigate this effect of climate change. And so with the herbicides, that actually doubles the problems. So our policies need to speak to these issues. We need resources to be pumped into the agriculture sector that will address, for instance, extension services, research and development, because that is greatly needed. And farmers need to get more information on how they can produce their food in a more organic and environmentally friendly manner, unlike where we're using pesticides and herbicides and hybrid seeds, which are not really conducive for the environment.
On the side of Character Zambia, what we would want to actually advocate for is to ensure that, I think, different stakeholders take some time to review the AGRA